how could this affect the way the government moves ahead? Everyone was all, geared up for this gradual move to changing the rules, moving in the direction of being much more loose with these. Now it's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, I think sort of in the wake of all that exuberance around the easing that we saw 2 Fridays ago, a little bit has been lost that China still does have the most stringent COVID curbs left in the world. You still do have very strict quarantines on entry. They are still doing lockdowns. They're just trying to make these curbs more targeted. And that is what you are seeing on the ground somewhat. You're not seeing these sort of citywide, very broad, sweeping lockdowns like we saw, for example, in Chengdu just before the Party Congress. But you are still seeing districts shut down, individual schools told to study from home, that sort of thing on the ground. And the concern is that we'll move even further away from that more targeted approach as the cases start to get higher, because you still do have this mandate for Chinese officials about bringing outbreaks under control, at least as far as the rhetoric goes, that they are still targeting zero transmission in the community. So it is that conundrum, that conflict, that could lead to sort of harsher restrictions on the ground in Beijing.
Because there is a real risk, Emma, of the rolling back of these targeted measures if we start seeing more deaths.
Yeah, I mean, fatalities are the ultimate test for China, because there has been so much rhetorical hay being made by the Communist Party comparing China's death toll, just over 5,000, to the entire length of the pandemic versus more than 1 million, say, for the US. So much has been made of that by the party, by Xi Jinping, to start to see a very strong wave of deaths will really be a big test. Now, the man who died over the weekend, this was the first death since the Shanghai lockdown. He was an older man, an 87-year-old, dying in Beijing. And China does have a very key vulnerability when it comes to its elder population, because you don't have the same levels of vaccination among those older people that you do in the rest of the population and that you do in other parts of the world. Only 66% of those aged over 80 are fully vaccinated, compared to a similar rate of 90% for a similar group, in the US. So they are clearly vulnerable when it comes to older people. So it will be a real test over the next couple of days of whether they can tolerate this higher level of cases, whether that is a shift, or whether they do start to basically put broad sweeping lockdowns in place piece by piece.